For right angle triangles, you use SOHCAHTOA. But for all other triangles, it is recommended you use the sine rule or cosine rule. And what does the sine rule say? The sine rule states that sine A over A is equals to sine B over B, and the same thing is equal to sine C all over C. While the cosine rule tells us that A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. This is the sine rule, this is the cosine rule, applicable to non-right triangles. This is Valeto's Maths Academy. Today we'll be looking at the sine rule and cosine rule and their applications. Let's get into the class. So today we'll be solving triangles using both rules, the sine rule and the cosine rule, and we'll see the applications in finding missing angles and sides of a triangle. Okay, we'll take our first example. If we have a triangle, we call this triangle A, B, C, and we're told that side AB is 7 centimeters. Side AB is 7 centimeters. Angle C, this angle here is 30 degrees. Angle B is 45 degrees. We're told to find the angle A using the sum of angle. And then, so what we're going to do, we're going to find all the angles, the missing angle, and all the sides in this example of this triangle. Okay, now recall that for right triangles, we use SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. But for all other triangles, we use the sine rule or the cosine rule. And like I said before, the sine rule says that sine A, which is the angle over the side A, is equal to sine B all over the side B, and is equals to sine C all over the side C. We denote the sides by small letters and the angles by capital letters. Oftentimes, we do not need both the three sides or angles. We just need two. And we deal with the sine rule first. The sine rule could also be, if you are looking for the side, this is suitable when you're looking for the angle. But if you are looking for the side, it is okay to rewrite this formula as A over sine A is equal to B over sine B, and is equal to C over sine C. It's very okay to do that, depending on what you want to get. If you want to get the side, you use this formula. If you want to get the angle, you use this formula. All right, so we should also remember that the sum of angles of a triangle is equals to 180 degrees. So in this example, we have two angles. 45 and 30. To get the missing angle A, we can say 180 degrees minus 45 plus 30 degrees. This will give us the missing angle. And this is 180 minus 75. So our missing angle here is 105. So we can simply put A to be 105, okay? Then the other part of the question says we should get all the sides. So if we have the angles now, we can find the sides by using the sine rule. Now, in using the sine rule, there are certain things we must consider, very important. In using the sine rule, you need at least one angle, an angle and the opposite side, an opposite side, then plus one more angle or side. This is what you need to apply the sine rule. If you have this in a triangle, then you can apply the sine rule. You need at least one side and the opposite angle. This is the angle and the opposite side. So for A now, if you want to look for this side B, we label this side B, we label this side A, and we label this side C. So if we want to look for side B now, we need the angle B and one more angle or one more side. So trying to put this to application, what we do to get the missing sides in this triangle. Now we have side C. We do not know what A is and B is missing. So using the sine rule, we say sine A over A is equals to sine B over B and is equals to sine C over C. We could then get the side B by saying B over sine B, and in this case sine B is 45 degrees, is equal to, we have another angle there, we have 7 over sine C, which is 30, sine C, sine 30. All right, so we have B over sine 45 is equals to 7 over sine 30. Now what we do here, we cross multiply to get the missing side B. So if we cross multiply, we're going to have B is equals to 7 sine 45 all over sine 30. What is left is simple arithmetic. You use your calculator, check what sine 45 is and what sine 30 is. You multiply by 7 and then you get your answer B. So if we do this, we're going to have B is the same thing as 7 sine 45 should be 0.7071 all over sine 30 is 0.5. If you multiply this by this, you should be having the final answer should be 9.9, which is approximately 10 centimeter. All right, so we have that B here is 10 centimeter. Now we have two sides. We have C of 7 centimeters and we have B of 10 centimeters. What is left now is the side A. So we could still apply the sine rule since we have just one missing side now. We could say A over sine A, and sine A here is 105, is equals to b over sine b. B here is 10 over 45. We do the same like we did earlier. We cross multiply. So a will be equals to 10 sine 105 over sine 45. Okay, and then our a is equal to, when you look for sine 105 and sine 45, we should be having 13.66, which is approximately 14 centimeter. All right, so that's it for all the sides and the angles. So this is 14 centimeter. So we have been able to get all the sides of this triangle and all the angles. So once you know two sides or two angles and one other side, you can use the sine rule. Remember, to use the sine rule, you need at least a side and the opposite angle plus one more side or one more angle. Okay, that's it here. All right, we move on. We take another example on the sine rule. Let's say we have a triangle. A, B, C as usual, and we have a side of 49 and the opposite angle of 6.3. Okay, then let's say we have one more angle. Let's call this angle 22, and we are told to find x. Okay, now what to do here is to use the sine rule, which says that sine A over A is equals to sine B over B, and it's equals to sine C over C. All right, please have this formula at the back of your hands always. So using this formula, we can look for the side x now, which we can call C. Yeah, opposite the angle, this is A, this is B. The side opposite the angle is called, we denote it by the small letter, and the side and the angle by capital letter. So now, having labeled this triangle, we could then apply the formula to say that we're looking for x, which is our C here. So we can then say x over sine 22, which is C, is the same thing as A, which is 6.3, over what? Sine A, which is 49. Okay, now as usual, what remains is arithmetic. We just need to cross multiply. So this will give us when we cross multiply, this will give us x sine 49 is equal to what? 6.3 sine 22. Okay, now we're looking for x, so x will now be equal to 6.3 times sine 22 all over what? Sine 49. So what remains here is just to press your calculator, get sine 22, get sine 49, multiply sine 22 by 6.3 and divide it by sine 49, and you get the value for your x. So if I press my calculator, the final answer should be 3.15. Since we approximated the first time, we could just say this is equals to 3, let's say it's in centimeter. Okay. In questions, in mathematics questions, always remember to include any units that is stated in the question. Mostly for triangles and lengths, it's always in meters or centimeters. Okay. All right. Let's we have two sides now. So this is 3.2, and if I have to approximate to one decimal place, and this is 6.3. So we need the last side, which is b. We could also use the cosine. We could also use the sine rule to get the last side. But before we use the sine rule to get the last side, we have to look for this angle here, b. So to get the angle, we use the sum of angles of a triangle, which is equal to 180. So we say 180 minus 49 plus 22. And angle B will be equal to what? 109. So angle B is equal to angle B is equal 109. So we put 109 here. With that, we can apply the sine rule. So we then say b over sine 109 is equals to, we can either pick A or C. So which do we pick now? We can pick C, which is 3.2 over what? The angle 22, sine 22. Okay, so in the same way, we cross multiply. B now will be equals to 3.2 sine 109 all over sine 22. So if you work this out, we'll be having the value of B to be 8 centimeter. Okay, so B here will be 8 centimeters. So we now have all the sides of the triangle and all the angles. So we have B to be 8, A to be 6.3, and C to be 3.2. And then we have the angle A 49, angle C, angle B 109, and angle C 22. So that's it for this question. We move on. Okay, before we go into the cosine rule, let's take another example where we have to find the missing angle. So if we have equation, they say use the sine rule to find a triangle where A is equals to 5, B is equals to angle B is equals to 45 degrees, and side B is equals to 7. Let's say 7. So we're told to find angle A. Okay, now if we draw the triangle of this, it's going to look something like this. So we'll call this triangle A, B, C, and we have side A, which is opposite of A, to be 5. This is A, so we'll call it 5. And what do we have again? We have angle B to be 45 degrees. And what else do we have? Side B is the opposite side to the angle B, and we say that is 7. Okay, then we're told to find A, angle A, call angle A theta or E. Okay, so if I to use the sine rule, which says that sine A over A is equals to sine B over B. Okay, with this, I told you to use the sine rule, you need at least one angle on the opposite side plus one other angle or one other side. So here we have the angle 45 degrees and the opposite side 7. Now we are looking for the angle A, and we have one other side A, 5. So putting that into application, we're going to have sine A now, which we do not know, over A, which is 5, will be equal to sine B, which is sine 45 over what? B, which is 7. If we cross multiply, we're going to have that sine A will be equals to 5 sine 45 over 7. Okay, then all we need to do is put this into our calculator, and we'll have sine A to be, so sine A here will be 0.5051 approximately. Then to know what A is, it's the sine, is the inverse arc sine or inverse sine of 0.5051. And if you use your calculator once again, then the angle A will be giving us approximately 30 degrees. So that's our answer. A is equals to 30 degrees. All right, so that's how you use the sine rule to work out for the missing sides or missing angle in a triangle that is not a right triangle. Okay, so we go into the cosine rule, which says that the cosine rule now tells us that a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Please try as much as possible to always have this at the back of your mind, because with this you can find the side of any triangle. If number one, you have two sides and an included angle. So for instance, we have, as if you have two sides and an included angle, then, or you have all three sides of the triangle. So when I say two sides and an included triangle, I mean if this is a triangle, this angle now is A. If you know the length of this side and you know the length of this side, and you have this angle here, so two sides with the included angle. So we usually call this you can call this side angle side. If you have this information, then you can use the cosine rule. Alternatively, if you have all three sides, if you know all the length of the three sides, if you have a triangle like this and you know the length of this side, you know the length of this side, and you know the length of this side, then side, you can also use the cosine rule to look for the length of the triangle. So before we take an example, before we solve this example on this cosine rule, I'm just going to say that if you are looking for the angle, all you need to do is to change the formula to relate to cos A, or the angle you're looking for. So if you're looking for the angle now, the formula is A is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. So if we're looking for an angle which is cos A, it has to be, if you add cos A to both sides, you will now have cos A is equal to b square plus c square minus a square. Remember, the a is going over to the other side. All over what is left here, minus all over 2bc. Okay, this is what it should be. You just change the subject of the formula. All right, with this we'll open a blank screen and solve the equation above, which says that given a triangle, a equals to 7, b is equals to 9, find angle C, which is equals to 60 degrees. A is equals to 7, b is equals to 9. We'll find C, which is 60 degrees. Okay, all right, so we have our triangle A, B, and C, and we have that, you know, the side opposite the angle is called, denoted with small letter. So we have here to be small letter A, here to be small letter B, and here to be small letter C. So they have given us the angle to be angle C to be 60 degrees. Then they have given us side A to be 7 centimeters and side B to be 9 centimeters. Okay, so the rule to use to find the missing side, what have we been asked to find here? The missing side, right? Okay, to have been asked to find the missing side C, this is what we are looking for. All right, so what we should use here is the cosine rule, which says that here now to be c square is equals to a square plus b square minus 2 what now? 2ab cos c. Okay, because we're looking for the angle C. All right, so all we need to do now is to substitute the numbers here in the formula. So we now have c square is equal to a square is 9 centimeter, 9 square plus b square is 7 centimeter. Sorry, not a here is 7 centimeter and b is 9 centimeter, 9 square minus what? 2 place of a, which is 7 times b, 9 times cos C, which is 60 degrees. Okay, having put this successfully into the formula, all we need now is arithmetic. So how we do it? Let's do this side separately, and we do this side, and then we subtract it. Okay, so we leave the left hand side the way it is. We don't need to tamper with that. 7 squared is 49 and 9 squared is 81. So 49 plus 81 will be giving us 122 minus, then we do the other side. Cos 60 now is cos 60 is the same thing as sine 30, which is 0.5. 0.5. So we say 0.5 times 9 times 7 times 2. that will be 63. So minus 63. Okay, so c squared now is equals to 122 minus 63, which is 59. All right, then the side c will be equal to the square root of 59. To eliminate the square, you have to find the square root of both sides. So c now is equal to the square root of 59, which is approximately 7.68 centimeter. Okay, so we have c to be approximately 8 centimeter. All right, so we have one angle, we have two sides. Now if we want to get the last, we have the three sides now. Okay, 7 centimeter, 8 centimeter, and 9 centimeter. All right, so that's for using the cosine rule. So if we want to get the remaining two angles in this triangle, we could use the sine rule, because we have two sides and one angle now. All right, we have three sides, we have one angle. We could apply the sine rule to fill up the remaining parts of the triangle, and I'll leave that to you. Okay, so that's how we arrived at this 8.2 centimeter. If you approximate, you'll be having 8 centimeter. Okay, we move on. So here we're going to find the angle. We're given a triangle using the, when we draw the triangle, we'll see if the cosine rule is the appropriate rule to find this triangle. Our triangle is A, B, and C, and we are told that side A is 10, side B is what, 12, and side C is 8. Okay, so we have all three sides. We do not have any angle given, so we're told to find cos C. Cos C will be this angle. Okay, so we remember that the cosine rule, when we're told to find this angle, let's call this angle C theta. What give the cosine rule is since we're looking for this angle cos C, it is now C squared. Yeah, C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C. Okay. Now we'll make, since we're looking for cos C, we'll make cos C the subject of the formula, which, like I told you before, it will now be cos C is equals to cos C will now be equal to, if you add cos C to both sides, it will now be equal to A squared plus B squared minus C squared all over what? 2AB. Okay, now this is the formula we're going to use to derive the angle C. So now this is cos C. Okay, so now all we have to do now is to substitute in the numbers in the formula. So we have where A is equal to what? 10, B is equal to 12, and C is equal to 8. Okay, so all we have to do now is put that in our formula. We'll come over this way. So we then say cos C is equal to, or since we've labeled it theta, we can make it theta. cos theta is equal to a squared is 10 squared plus b is 12 squared minus what? C is 8 squared all over what? 2 times AB. 10 is A times 10 times B is what? 12 times 12. Okay, so all that is left is arithmetic. Cos theta then will be equal to what? 10 squared is 100, 12 squared is 144, 8 squared is 64. By the time you do the arithmetic here, you should be having 0.75. So to find theta will now be the cos inverse of 0.75. Once again, you have to use your calculator to get this by using the either the shift button in your calculator so the cos inverse of this will be 41.4, which is approximately 41 degrees. So that's the angle. So that's how we arrived at 41 degrees here. Okay, I hope you are finding this lecture interesting and not too confusing. Just the basic thing here is to know when to apply the sine rule and when to apply the cosine rule, then know the two formulas separately. Okay, so we have practice questions here for you. Okay, the first thing you do is to try to create the triangle by yourself. Once you succeed in creating the triangle, every other thing will work itself out. Create a triangle, determine what to use, if it's the sine rule or the cosine rule. That's the first thing. Then, because most likely in an exams, they will not tell you to use the sine rule or to use the cosine rule. They'll just tell you to find the sides or the angle, the missing side of the angle. So you have to know when to use the sine rule or when not to use the cosine rule. Okay, then we have an interactive task. Feel free to pause the video and solve them at your own pace. Okay, for a summary, remember our sine rule says sine A over A is equals to sine B over B and is equals to sine C over C when you are looking for the angle. But when you are looking for the side, you use A over sine A is equals to B over sine B and is equals to C over sine C. This is for the sine rule, and we say that you can use the sine rule when you know one angle plus one side in addition to an extra angle or extra side. Then you use the sine rule. Then for the cosine rule, we say that a squared, we say that a squared is equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Okay, so depending on the angle you are looking for, you just interchange the formula. And to use the cosine formula, you either have SAS. Remember this notation. SAS which we call side angle side. So it means that you have, in a triangle like this, you have this angle and you have this side, you have this side. Side angle side. So you have two sides and an included angle, then you use the cosine rule. Or you have three sides, side, side, side. In a triangle like this, you have this side, you are given this side, and you are given this side. Then you can use the cosine rule to find the missing angle. All right, guys. I hope we've done justice to this. All that is left now is for you to pick up past questions, textbooks, wherever you can lay your hands on questions on this topic and do justice with confidence to them. Please follow please follow us on Facebook and on all social media, and then like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in our next lecture.